and not going to go down without a fight. See if they can turn around here and even it up 1-1.
I also love that little blurb of kind of the team saying, hey, Darshan, our top laner, Nasa's top. What do we expect? Hey, I want to freeze and gank early. That's what the team, things can change immediately at the drop of a coin. So, and it's the drop of a hat.
It's so good to have
coins.
Yeah.
Drop coins.
Drop your coins in your hat and then put it on your head. Then they fall on the floor. It's so good to have that type of leadership and that type of communication. It makes it easier when you are bringing in a rookie and you're trying to work with a rookie jungler, especially of all positions. So just that kind of direction, I know, will make a player like that feel so much more comfortable. Let's get back into it, though. Dignitas, they are going to ban out these acts still, even with the nerfs. Don't want to deal with that amount of crowd control. Maokai and Gragas are both available. CLG have had a lot of priority on Gragas, but Maokai also cannot be denied how much crowd control he's going to bring to the table.
You are right. Cannot be denied. Maokai getting picked up on the side of Chronologic Gaming. This leaves the Gragas up. Does that go to the hands of Shrimp as they cycle through? What will it be?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what Dignitas do for mid lane again, because now, not only did they ban out the Cassiopeia, like I talked about in game number 1, going into it for Keen, which has been fairly crucial, but his second most recently has been the Syndra, and it does really change kind of what the game looks like as far as, is this going to be a Huhi, just trying to power through his lane and then come up big in teamfights game, or is it going to be one where he tries to roam around? Regardless, it is going to be the Tristana here for Altec once again, picking it preemptively here, and following it up with either a Someday or a Shrimp Jarvan. Now, technically, or usually I would say it's going to go to Someday, but even on Team Dignitas, you have to give the option of Keen. He can definitely take things like that in the mid lane, so prepare yourself for possible curveballs with these two teams. Not likely, but have to account for it in Champ Select as they're going through it. And there's your question answered. Talia, the roaming mid lane, different look here from Huhi. We'll see how effective he can actually be early on. And Keen happy to take the reverse, it looks like.
Funny how that happens. I can do anything you can do better. We'll see if that's the case here between Huhi and Keen as he takes the Orianna looking for the shockwaves. They have a great composition to circle around that Cataclysm. But it's going to be hard to get to that backline Kog'Maw. We'll see how they actually work around that.
Also, I do really enjoy using Talia's ultimate within teamfights, because people almost always just focus on Talia's mobility and using the wall in the early game, roaming around, or even at objectives and cutting people off from objectives. But especially when you have large AoE abilities like Maokai's ultimate, Talia can be used to create a wall to force people through a Maokai ultimate and set up a very, very intimidating ultimate, rather than, people always talk about Maokai and they're like, yeah, we can just walk away from it. It's so slow or whatever, unless he's twisted advance on you. It's more scary.
You can set it up in a very slow manner as well. You say, the wall's moving that way. Weaving wall is going to create much faster, so you can actually do it reactively once you figure it out. I like that. I like that, Kobe. I hope they do it. Because usually we see the first ult, like you said, to roam, and maybe like 20 minutes later for an inhibitor. In between, it's kind of whatever. The ban's coming through pretty fast for second phase. Morgana, Gnar, Alistar, Shen, tanks on one side with a bit of top laner and support.
Yeah, we have flexible top lane possible moves for both as well. And Dignitas not going to show their hand yet. So they're still keeping that flex open here. Getting some crowd control for the bottom lane, though. Thresh, huge playmaking, and one of the champions that, as soon as Adrian came in, he had a large impact on.
It's actually one of the least picked for Aframu. A lot of the supports have that Thresh up there around 8, 9, 10 picks. His is around 3 or 4. That Blitzcrank is the one he really puts into that pocket pick. It's going to be the Karma this time around. More shields for the Kog'Maw, or I should say a shield for the Kog'Maw at this point. What do they finalize the composition with for Darshan?
Yeah, it really does seem like Afro is all about the Ardent Sensor rushing. Karma also very good at rushing the Ardent Sensor. And as you said, Kog'Maw gonna be so happy about that. Ooh.
Oh, Camille for Darshan to the top side. This was banned out first phase by Team Dignitas last game, and now he gets it.
All right, Darshan gets his chance to go extremely damage-oriented. First time he was on Shen, he was very effective creating plays, but the Camille, definitely a different look. And versus Jarvan, there are some interesting things if that's his matchup. If not, then that's definitely still a possibility here. As we said, it's a possible flex.
The Renekton, so he will not be up against the Jarvan.
Definitely Renekton, one of the more stable matchups versus Camille. A lot of Camille matchups actually got kind of scary after the buffs to Camille, and Renekton is definitely one of the ones that stayed, very solid for him. So we'll see about the early game, because Jarvan plus Renekton is also quite a potent ganking combo. Jarvan can come from multiple directions, and Renekton is so good at setting it up early on. If you use Renekton's W while Jarvan's in range, it makes it well, not even easy. It makes it a no-brainer. If you have a mouse, then you hit your EQ combo when Renekton sets it up with your W, and that is the biggest thing about Jarvan, right? His early game can be so impactful. If you land that combo, you get your Thunder Lords, you get your passive auto attack. It's just a huge amount of burst, and really the only time they get out-dueled is when he misses that combo. But as long as you lock him down beforehand, you can even take away that possibility of outplay.
Cop and Zix to the back, leaving the players with the final words of how to get victory in this game. Now the mechanics are up to them. Hashtag CLG win, hashtag Dignitas win. We'll see if Dignitas can keep this series alive, or does Counter Logic Gaming come out swinging once again. A sub 30-minute game for game number 1. Looks like they're going to try it again here. Look at that. I can almost touch it. Almost. So close.
I feel like you'd have to take a running jump into the crowd.
That's all right.
As long as the crowd is ready to have, Riv like crowd surf and they'll catch you.
It's only like a 15-foot drop. We're fine.
I think they're ready.
Here we are onto the rift. Let's see. Even out.
Have you ever been crowd surfing before?
I haven't.
It seems like such a scary thing.
I think it'd be very cool.
Hands of all these people you don't know touching you. It could take stuff out of your pockets.
That's what I was worried about. Guess you gotta think ahead. So where will Dig and CLG think ahead? Looks like they're actually just chasing Altec out.
No money.
Seeing that Orianna was mid, they figured they wouldn't have enough power and numbers. And we can just walk through the jungle. See the starts here. Shields all around. Wow. Very defensive, looking for the heals. All right.
Fighting over the Classic Raptor Awards. We'll update in case people have not watched games in a long time. Since the jungle was changed with so much extra experience into Raptors, that has become the meta just to check, regardless if the enemy jungler is starting there or not. As long as you can check that one off by process of elimination, you'll be able to deduce their early route. Shrimp, it looks like, is going to start out with the red first. Maybe he'll be an aggressive Jarvan then, because especially early on, one of the big things I loved about Jarvan is people going with level 2 ganks. Red buff level 2 Jarvan can catch someone off guard. And as I said, with landing your combo, you only need level 2. And if you come out of the jungle at like 2 minutes, you can get your Thunder Lords, your red buff, the passive. Like, you can kill someone with that. So CLG actually doing a lot of extra work there. They have the ward behind the red buff to see which way he would go if he did a super early gank. And they also have a ward onto blue buff. So even though Shrimp got his pull on his red and he's immediately going to the bottom side, he went over a ward. So he is going for that level 2, but they had a ward. That is actually incredible.
I was ready for your excitement, Kobe.
Yeah, well, I always talk about the level 2 red buff ganks, but they never happen. CLG, though, they still let him get down there. Good dodge.
Oh, almost
had
flash, no hook, level 1 Adrian with Flay still. Just a few more minions would have put this one in a better position.
Well, that is going to burn a little bit for the bottom lane, having to play defensive against a Thresh Tristana, which is a 2v2 that has a lot of all-in potential. Now they're going to have to respect jungler presence. Like, this is where tracking the enemy jungler becomes so ridiculously important. So it looks like, even though we're watching this trade on bottom side,
it's all support. The heal from Stixay still there. Doesn't actually use it. Holds it. thought they could get out alive.
Yeah, I mean, Aframu holds onto his flash, and Stixxay holds onto his heal there.
Yeah.
That's the all-in potential that we're talking about, though. Thresh, hook lands, Tristana, rocket jump, immediate first blood for Team Dignitas. Omar got trying to answer because they saw the Jarvan go for the risky level 2 gank, but even though the flash he burned wasn't Aframu's, the kill still comes through. Who he go for is early roam, though, onto the top side. Will Darshan be able to set it up? It doesn't look like it, and some more wasted time. Team Dignitas gaining quite a bit in the early stages of this match number 2.
Yep. Nicely done there. Might have been the hold for Ignite. That's the only thing I'm thinking, so you get a better heal out of it.
Boom. And at that point, he's dead.
Oh, yeah, he's blown. That's
so
okay.
The only flash that would have worked is the flash on the initial hook.
Right.
And
there's no point to heal that.
Yeah, so much in the early game especially, you're like, all right, let's play the mind game. Is he going to guess I'm dodging? Is he not going to guess I'm dodging? Adrian lands it, though, and they are rewarded instantly. That's huge because the kill also went to Tristana, and he lands another one.
Oh, that's the flash held, but is it even going to matter this time? It doesn't. The kills just come in so damn fast.
Bottom lane
Holy
camp
moly.
here for Team Dignitas is paying off tremendously. Tristana can, pick up a bunch of extra CS as well. That is definitely a lot of power here into the Tristana early, and we have seen how quickly she can scale if you do get these early kills. Yeah, Tristana is going to have to go for the crit multiplying build, and it takes a bit longer than Kog'Maw, but with 2 early kills plus CS leads, Team Dignitas feeling quite good about the early routes. And even though Shrimp did sacrifice a couple of his camps when he goes for bottom lane ganks like that, Omar took away his Raptors or whatever, that's honestly not even that big of a cost for him considering the reward they got, because he'll be able to refarm second spawn of those Raptor camps, and there's a ton of them, so you get a little bit more bonus experience. Currently though, Omar will have that level lead due to the counter jungling.
Look at the buys. BF sword coming back to Stixxay's long sword. That feels unfortunate in lane. And they're going to have to play very, very careful for him to farm up nicely. Like you said, that power trough for Tristana, basically not there.
You could definitely say that. That feels so bad. You head back with a kitchen table knife, basically.
Yeah.
And Altec is over here with a giant broadsword. Not exactly a fair fight.
See the matchups, lost chapters in the other lanes. Not too bad. Defense for Darshan, so he can fight up against Someday with the Ninja Toppies and a bit of vision. We'll see if Shrimp actually decides to go anywhere else. He may just hug this bottom side and make sure that Omar God doesn't try and get Stixxay and Aframu back in.
Omar going for the repeat on the Raptors. He does have that timer we talked about, so he's going to be able to get the second spawn. And I want to point this out to people because, especially since there was a lot of recent popularity of people talking about catch-up experience.
Yeah.
If you are the jungler that's ahead, it is incredibly important for you to control the Raptor camp and even the Krugs, because that's where a lot of catch-up experience comes from. It's from the camps that have so many jungle camps or monsters in them that there are multiple sources of that catch-up experience, which is per monster. Shrimp here is on a ward.
Gets in with the slingshot, hook shot, I should say. Shrimp goes down as soon as he is up from that assist in the bot lane.
This is almost a combination of the 2 stories we were talking about. Raptor control, but also the earlier idea of using your opponent's goals against them. Shrimp really wants a respawn of Raptors so he can get that extra experience, but they use the Raptor as bait. Gonna get a kill there for Darshan, the split pusher for CLG, and that changes a lot about this game. We were talking about bottom lane snowballing so hard for Team Dignitas. Now CLG with a little bit of extra money early. Uh-oh, might not be the case.
Waiting for the hook to come in, slowly pressuring. One last shot, they are able to take him out. He's coming down, can they lock it off? He still has the Weaver's Wall to close in Altec and Adrian. Make sure they don't get too far. There's one kill, 19 seconds on to him, and no teleport for Someday as that is already down. So CLG answers back slightly to get that kill.
Yeah, it's a decent answer for Huhi, and he's able to get roam, and he's able to get some money off of that. But holy moly, Altec is actually going nuts this game. 3 kills now on the Tristana early, so this is going to be a race. Tristana snowballing for Team Dignitas off the bottom lane. versus Darshan on Camille in the top side did get an early kill. Now, as far as that matchup goes though, an early kill for Camille does not mean that he gets to bully a Renekton. Renekton is still Renekton, so Someday is going to be the one tasked with keeping the Camille in control, which he should be able to do for at least the immediate future. It is going to be a problem later as Camille scales, but as of right now, the biggest issue on the map is this bottom lane. Adrian and Altec, again with a big play. He had a big roam though, and he seismic shoves Adrian into the Kog'Maw body, which gets him off the true damage, and that's what pushes them over the edge as far as getting that answer kill. Shrimp though, he's still got a nice camp set up here on the bottom side.
Slowly
he's a bait.
walking through. No, not Afromu's game at all this time around. Once again, finds himself face checking the brush. No real chance. The team was there to help. But
it was funny too.
Dig's in position.
Yeah, as observers, we could see both Omar and Huhi trailing Afromu, and it made me think that it was a plan. And you're like, oh, okay, are they actually baiting to stagger this, and then they're gonna have the Maokai and Camille or Talia come in afterwards? But no, they backed up up the river, and another kill to Altec. Count it, 4 kills here for the Tristana. Gonna rush Infinity in.
Ooh! Adrian over the shoulder hook onto Stixxay and
getting pushed around.
Half his health. Altec currently has around 146 damage. Stixxay has about 88. So there is no fight here to be had. If Stixxay gets hooked, he has to run away immediately, no matter what the situation.
Yeah, he's just getting beat up, even under his own turret. It's not a not a great situation for him, and they don't have a Camille this time.
The stutter step. Altec feeling real good this game. Starts to taunt a little bit in lane. And why not? Start to get in the head of your opponent a little bit here, and even playing the 3 caster minions. They have the vision to just say, if you make a mistake, we're going to hook for a few shots.
Yeah, and Adrian on this Thresh just setting up so many of these plays so well. Really been on top of it. We'll see if CLG has anything to answer, though, because there is a possibility that when the turret gets low, again, you try and use that low turret as a bait because you know the enemy is going to try and take it, but then you're playing into their hands. That's where their fed Tristana is. And you don't really want to play around the enemy's fed member. So in those sorts of cases, I often would advise just trading objectives and trying to play to your strong side. You know, there's definitely levels to, oh, do I want to try and bail out my weak area and play into the enemy strong side, or do we just want to trade? For Tristana like that early on with a Thresh in the lane, I'd say is one where you would rather just play elsewhere.
Yeah, he's staying in lane until he gets the entire Affinity Edge as well. He's got enough for their critical cloak already, so he's just waiting for the completion price at the moment. And it might get it from
That's been a good push for him.
Verdict says they're just going to leave this time and actually split a little bit. Adrian's going to go get some other wards, make sure it's safe for them to keep pushing. Actually, he may come mid for a bit of a gank here. Keen just used Shockwave, so they call that one off.
Shrimp coming around as well. They might want a 2 versus 2. Both teams have vision, though, so I don't expect deaths up in the mid lane. I do expect deaths in the bottom lane, though, with how this has been going.
Just maybe.
Yeah, honestly, you can look at CLG's duo lane. They are not leaving the turrets with good reason. Turret is about to go down, so Dignitas will instead take this Drake. This is kind of a, I know you cannot come out and answer me,
exactly.
So.
They're like, well, we can't find CLG members, so we'll take the Drake. That's on our side a little bit. Ooh, whoa. Doesn't want to get cut up here. The ultimatum goes down, but Someday says we can fight this. Gets a good call with that rage bar up.
Great escape.
Gets the heal up, gets himself escape. Bottom lane going to take a little bit more pressure here as Adrian is just toying with 3 members of CLG on the bot side.
That was exactly it, though. That was the probably highest percentage play open to CLG. Is play on the opposite side of the map where the Fed Tristana isn't. They tried for the play. They were unsuccessful, though, due to a good escape from Someday. On Renekton, you always, when people attack you like that, you want to go in close to them, and Someday actually heals off of them.
Yes.
And then, as long as your champion model is touching theirs, you can slice out and you get the extra activation. Even if you don't go through them, as long as you know your snout or something is touching them at least, you'll be able to get your second dice, and he does use that plus the flash to get out.
Yeah, definitely don't want to come down to Altac on the bot side. Usually you say full kill participation, but he has all kill participation at this point.
Yeah.
Those are his 4 kills on the board. He just slowly walks these minions out so they can't get any farther away from the turret.
Yeah, he wants to...
9, what do you think?
When you pull the minions like that, and then you let them reset by going into the bush, all of them turn on the first enemy minion. That's how you can direct your minions to focus fire, and you deny more minions to your enemy that way. Your options then are to either let them continue to kill off your minions and, you know, freeze it is the terminology, or after the single one is denied, take the turret, get your bonus gold, and get this Tristana out onto the field where he can take over the game. This is a 6,400 gold lead. He's almost 2,500 above 6A at the moment.
He didn't even finish it. He's like, Static Shiv, I can complete this item right now and still have the damage from the Infinity Edge pieces. I like that. I like that buy as well. Actually starts off, he doesn't really have to look to kill anybody with crits. The Static Shiv will drop the HP bars of how low level the game is right now. 4-2, just about 15 minutes in, and Altac is starting to spike on Tristana. Can't say that too often about a Trist.
Let's see where they decide to try and utilize it. Right now, they're just going to have him solo in the bot side because there's not a lot of kill pressure from a Karma Kog'Maw, so Altac feels just fine controlling these waves. And it's going to be Dignitas' move, right? Because they're the ones that get to push side lane first. Yep. We'll see if they actually use that to collapse or, you know, try and create something around mid lane. CLG's defensive vision is kind of helping them out in that case, as they have a lot of wards through that bottom side river, allowing Huhi a bit more safety there and some early alert.
A little interaction between Someday and Darshan. You see them trying to actually do damage to each other until one makes a mistake. They just saw where Shrimp was, so they know Keen's getting blue. They get a little time to breathe themselves here on the side of CLG, but what a change from game 1 to game 2 here. Not really able to carry any of the momentum they had. Yeah. As Dignitas starts out very strong. He called it a very, very early gank by Shrimp on the level 2 Jarvan, and they've been able to work nicely off it.
And there was, I believe, I am going to have to, after this game, go back and check that level 2 walk, but I was so sure that he walked by the ward on the blue buff, and I still think that CLG, you know, knew he was in the area and weren't too scared about it. Remember, that gank only got the flash on 6A, and it was actually the bottom lane themselves that created their kill on the Afro move, which is incredibly impressive. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a little bit of a wall to try and delay this push.
That was a really good point. That little pressure in the early game created the few instances of vision that caused Aphromoo to brush track. Now Altac, a very big Tristana, works her way towards mid lane. Cloud Drake coming up next. We already have one of those. Seems like we're getting a lot of the same. Not too much damage for Altac on the turrets just yet, so CLG has some time to recoup here and get themselves in position.
Yeah, they've got about 1 minion wave, and they have everyone here. Tristana taking her toll, though, and they're just going to head back down to the side wave, push the bottom lane to set it up first, and then that gives you your 30-second advantage. With Static Shiv, it's effortless here. You know, you'll be able to push the next wave coming in as well. And they really do want to keep that turret gold snowballing for themselves, because if they can keep the pressure up like this by shoving the wave, then rotate over, take another turret, not only do you get to pick up outer turrets like that, but you're denying CLG any chance of setting up for answering turrets and evening that gold. And the 3,000 around team gold basically for outer turret advantage like that, if you have all three and they have none of them, is so meaningful for the mid-game fights that it translates almost into instant dragon control.
Already have the wards pushed up around that. Dignitas has been working off this line of river wards so far. CLG forced to just stay back for the time being. That one ward on Keen is maybe the furthest forward that they have at this point. Fight the top side as Someday and Darshan. High five early. No damage coming from those two until we get something else in that lane.
Someday denied him.
Yeah, looked like Omar God wanted to get in the fight. They call it off. He's hanging out on the side right now, ready to curve his way in. I don't think he's going to be able to make it before they get Dragon.
Cloud number 2 for Team Dignitas. And again, the Dragon control is just 100% there because of the bottom lane power. On top side, though, CLG still trying to make it work.
Oh! Flash forward for the hook shot. Nature's Grasp. Gonna walk him out of that situation.
Yep. Would have had to use that one super early. So that would have had to been, you know, better communication, saying I am going all in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna flash.
From, you know, Darshan to say we're forcing this with my flash for an early Maokai ultimate, and it might have been able to catch up.
Whoa! Got him.
Altec!
What a 1v1! And Altec solidifies the 5th kill of the game solo.
19-minute Infinity Edge Static Shiv combo. That is disgusting, right?
Here he goes. Already has a pentakill under his belt coming into the LCS here, playing very well for himself this season. And when he can turn it on, he can carry that advantage himself and go other places with it. Usually you still need your support. Not this game.
That's really why we've been talking so much about the Dignitas bottom lane in their you know, resurgence basically in the second part of the split. Adrian, you know, setting up so many plays, Altec being very reliable for the late game as well. Has done wonders for the team, and now they will complete the outer turret trinity for themselves. This greatly shrinks the map and the availability of counterplay from CLG. Omar is able to get that Gromp, I believe, with the smite. But yeah, the counterplay becomes very difficult to pull off. Because they're huddled at secondary turrets, they have no even defensive vision after this. And this is just a straight up crit to the face.
He called him on it. He said, I'm going to weave
Flash
this wall.
forward,
1v1, bro.
right into him.
Dang. He took the fight. Altec putting his dukes up. We'll see if this happens again. I'm sure they're going to be a little bit more wary if they go for that fight.
And he's like, hey, who fed this Tristana? Team, who fed this guy?
20 minutes in, and Dignitas delivering the same medicine CLG was able to here. Just 9 minutes from now, CLG won that first game of the series. Dignitas on a pretty good clip, especially with that Tristana being so big.
This is kind of what we expected from this series too. Definitely to be more contested than the first game would kind of show. Second game here, Dignitas coming out full steam ahead, showing why they think that they deserve one of these top playoff spots, and they have really shown it. Yep. This game is looking to snowball so quickly. There still are the options that we talked about where CLG do have a Camille. Camille is scaling up now, you know, Trinity Force plus the Tiamat soon to be upgraded here. But it doesn't seem like they're going to have time. Altec is on a warpath. Adrian's creating plays so easily. Yeah, Dignitas can really push the tempo of this game.
This is one of those we can work around CLG right now, and that's exactly what they're doing. Spreading them thin between turrets. And that's only Darshan that can really leave the team at this point in time. Keen and Adrian, and
that's
just
an ulti
spot in the mid lane. Yeah, I was gonna say, you saw the Lantern bring him up on the mini-map, but we just missed it as the Weaver's wall goes down. Still a lot of damage, but they don't have that cutoff, or as we were saying, the Nature's Grasp setup if they could make one. Altec solo mission on the top side.
Red buff as well makes taking turrets
unstoppable.
Easy peasy.
236 CS. He's also the highest in the game with all the kills. Just under him is Huhi, and he is trying not to share any with anyone right now so he can carry the game. Someday on the bot side, no dice for the slice, and he's back to farming.
No problem for Renekton. Takes the fight using his ultimate, chases off Darshan, and allows the 4-man squad to push up here. Now that Darshan has been in the fog of war, Someday says, hey, he's probably already been back to heal, so be cognizant of possible teleport flanks, so they back off a bit. Definitely some good, you know, measured play here from Team Dignitas.
2-man? Might be just the Altec 1-man? Who knows at this point?
He's got the damage. As long as someone tanks the Baron for him, he definitely has the damage to do it.
Careful. Oh, my word.
Painful to watch.
What did we see? Wow, he absolutely disappearing.
Now you see him?
No, you don't. They actually smothered him. I didn't see him to begin with. And now that means they can do Baron. Really, they didn't want to get shoved around. There's pretty good AoE and shielding for CLG to make something happen. But without Kuhi, that option dwindles so much. Good damage onto the Baron. They've kind of averted Dignitas' attention. Very nicely done by Chronologic Gaming here.
So they are able to buy themselves some time.
Yeah.
Definitely going to have a tough road here. Let's see what Altec picks up. Does he have enough for his next rapid fire cannon? 1600.
His next rapid fire?
Next item, flash rapid fire cannon.
Getting more than
White.
Uh-oh, Hextech ultimatum onto Sunday. He's been winning this fight. That call's going to give him a lot of health back. Doubles. What he gets back there, Darshan says no. Do not want that anymore.
Bit off more than he could chew. As we said, Renekton, still Renekton. He's fine with the matchup. Able to fight him off still. Darshan just kind of poking around. He's like, have I scaled enough? Okay, I still need to complete my upgrade to see him at here.
That was his flash, so Darshan has to be a lot more careful of his positioning within that long push lane. Now, top's resetting, so that's not going to go anywhere too fast. However, Someday will head towards that bot side to get the teleport play towards top. CLG. Oh.
Doesn't matter. Got his own jump.
Somebody forgot to calibrate that blast cone.
Alta can do it all. Counter jungling, taking an Earth Drake here.
3 Drakes now for Dignitas. Next one, Mountain Drake as well.
All right.
Get through these structures.
Now, so Adrian's the one we're looking at to start out the fight. They can also use Shrimp just to keep people in the Cataclysm and try and force the issue. But it's so much going to be about keeping your eyes on Altec. If Altec does make a big mistake, then CLG, could win the team fight.
All the damage.
It actually has to be a big mistake at this point. Even if they get onto him, it is so ridiculously scary because he did finish that rapid fire cannon. He has a locket on his jungler and a Knight's Vow on his support. So he's got safety built in. Even if you get to the Tristana, you've probably taken half your life getting there and have to worry about being instantly executed upon arrival.
It's interesting, and the champions, like they said, how are they going to get to this Kagwa on the back line? It's how are they going to get to this Tristana?
Oh, he's getting in there.
Back line. Omar God heading back to that brush. Adrian's been throwing a few hooks back and forth through there, so it looks like they're just trying to bait out what they can, knowing Dig wasn't going to take that full fight. Darshan again heading back down towards the bot side. Meet up with Someday.
All right, let's see. Darshan doesn't have flash this time, so if he fights Someday 1 versus 1, then it's Someday's fight to choose. Not going to take it this time around.
Quickly backed off. That won't be too good for Luhi. Give it over to Keen. Nicely done. Wall up to Baron to check as well.
Yeah, I'm cautious because Dignitas actually, they have so much damage that with a Mountain Drake, just one single Mountain Drake, even without the next one, you really have to keep eyes on Baron. And that's so difficult for Chronologic Gaming right now that Dignitas should continue to just poke around this area.
See, Omar got so hesitant right now. He's like, I think I can. There's no vision up here. Dean just on the outside throws the ball out to zone. Very nicely done. Nobody can walk through that choke point now unless they want to get full shockwave. But it is Dignitas actually hesitant about this.
It's because Baron still is going to do a lot of damage. They don't have a main tank with them. Shrimp is even on jungle Jarvan, who's building full tank. He rushed a Locket, and a Locket does have some armor, but it's not a main armor item. And Flash Rage, and he got it.
Oh my word! Taking down Omar God immediately. Dignitas with the snap judgment play, and now it's about the Baron. No 50-50 on the smite.
Oh.
Probably would have been another fight straight down mid. Aphromoo gets himself out, and they can look to poke here, look to get something else. If they do win the resulting fight, they might be able to make it down mid with the wave positioning.
It's probably the one that breaks it open. Here they go. Baron is down.
Hook shot from Darshan is out. Someday forward, right in the middle of the team, gets the stun onto the back line. Sticks stays low, gets himself a kill. Flashes, but he's stuck inside Cataclysm and can't get out. His Shrimp can't drop it. And now the rest of the team is going for the kills. Alpha Moon running to the right. Dig limping away from this fight, but they are alive to tell the story.
4 for 1, clean kills here for Team Dignitas. Baron means that they can push immediately afterwards, and this game is actually out of control right now. Team Dignitas 7-0-4 here on Altec, and they're inside the base.
Continues to move up. They should be able to do quite a bit of damage heading topside just after this, leaving some breadcrumb wards to be safe on the way out. And I think it's just going to be Altec to help someday as the rest of the team heads for the hills. Nope, they decide not to. Good choice.
Yeah, they can, after they go back and purchase and use that money that they just got from those plays around mid lane, they can actually return and even attempt to end the... Whoa, teleport here comes in for Darshan. He's looking for the flank.
I was going to say, what was the resulting fight? I think they saw the teleport coming in just off the side. A lot of hesitation here from Dignitas to move.
They're far away from home.
One lockdown. Altec's in a bad spot. He's going to have the rest of the team coming up on him. That's a huge kill shutdown that CLG could grab here. The jump out, they're going to be fine. Altec gets himself to a great spot immediately. No mana on him, but you don't need mana for the auto attacks. Jumps over the wall with the last reset he could possibly afford. And now he fires a shot forward. Rapid fire cannon drop sticks they down to half. Someday on the other side trying to rout him if they go through the base gate. Cataclysm coming in. Shockwave to deplete the HP bar of Fuhi as CLG continues to get dropped off the map.
Shockwave in a hole right there, able to get the last kill, and that is going to be it. Team Dignitas strike back almost as quickly with such a good game out of the bottom.
Absolutely, they're on the Nexus in just about the same amount of time, waiting on the minions as they have approached. One last shot, a Cathian surprise is just there for the ending party. No one's going down. A beautiful game two by Dignitas to bring it to a game 3, 29-55 in, 16-3 as they pad a few more kills for Altec's 9-0 8 Tristana. Dignitas take down Chronologic Gaming. Wow, what a turnaround game.
Honored the bottom lane there for Team Dignitas.
Yes, GG stayed cool. Great shot calling. Can you do all of them? Wow. The wave from Adrian and Altec as they head out with the rest of their team. And really turning the tides of what happened in the mid lane. The Orianna Talia got mixed up back and forth. They swapped champions, but it was all about the bottom lane. A very early level 2 from Shrimp's Jarvan to blow a flash, and then that flash just continued to be the catalyst for an advantage for Dig.
Yeah, definitely a huge snowball out of them. So both teams going to have to go back and plan for the decider here. We're going into game number 3, and how do you plan around, hey, Altec and Adrian came up huge with back-to-back plays down there. You know, Thresh was a big part of it starting it out, but you know, there are other champions they can actually use for a playmaking bottom lane.
I think Dash and Jat know. For a deeper dive on how Team Dignitas tied up the series, let's hand it off to Dash and Jat.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Sound guy Joey was right to be wary of CLG moving into game 2. Some stuff goes wrong. The bot lane for Dignitas gets rolling, and that spelled disaster. So as Kobe mentioned, 2 very one-sided games moving us to game 3. Between our 3rd and 4th place teams right now in the standings is getting exciting.
Yeah, and this was an interesting game as well because the Kog'Maw Karma says that CLG actually wants to play around the bot side. We saw the first 3 picks from Chronologic Gaming in the draft, and they were in the exact same order as game 2 from Immortals, where Cody's son smashed. But the rest of the game was much different. Just an absurd focus on the bottom lane from Shrimp that could have costed them, but didn't.
Right, exactly. As you mentioned, we saw a few extra picks coming in here differently for CLG than Immortals ran with, but still the same core idea, a strong tank line for the Kog'Maw with the shielding support. Okay, if we can get him rolling, he can just run through the game. The exact opposite happens because Dignitas throws so much focus into the bot lane so early, and we saw it with that level 2 from Red Buff on top side of the map. Shrimp decides to forfeit his jungle just to put pressure into this lane.
Yeah, and they kind of knew this was coming, so they just get the flash from this. I don't actually think this should be considered the win for Team Dignitas. I think Omar God should be able to punish this. But here, landing the hook getting the flag, getting the bomb detonation, doesn't even bother healing if your stick save because Afternoon was so dead, but that's on them not being in the right spot. Then they come back again, they land another hook, and this is where they really start getting the snowball rolling. But where you have to question as well is what's happening on the other side of the map, because Dignitas wasn't suffering huge differences. And then once Altec got going, he knew exactly what to do with it. Crits his first shot onto Huhi, gives him confidence, flashes forward instead of backwards, gets the kill. And that just was kind of the icing on the cake. Once that happened, they just played around Altec as much as possible.
Very much so. The first 5 kills for the team went into Altec's pocket. You can see there the damage dealt from the Tristana, absolutely massive. All the 2 top laners were in the side lane smacking on each other. That's why their damage numbers are even remotely close to his, because if you were to track simply team fights, I'm willing to bet it was almost entirely Tristana in every single one.
Yeah, the Renekton did a good job in this game, I would say, for Someday, because the number of times he flashed what felt like really early for an impending Camille, Talia, Maokai gank was really high. And you normally see that combo consistently kill the top laner over and over again, and Someday never let that happen.
Well, and that's what you're talking about, right? With the resources dedicated to the bot lane from Shrimp so early on, you are looking for CLG to punish the top side of the map, whether it's invading the jungle, taking all the camps and putting Shrimp himself behind, or putting focus into Someday's lane and getting Darshan ahead as a split pusher. Clean play from Someday, avoiding ganks, making sure he doesn't go down, using those summoner spells precisely when he needs to, allowed his bot lane advantage to be big enough, the delta there big enough to carry them through to victory. Important to note, Adrian is going to pick up player of the game. Honorable mention to Altec, obviously, because he's the one dealing the damage, but it was so much about getting that Tristana off the ground. If the hooks don't land, the kills don't come through.
Yeah, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? The hook or the kill on a Tristana? Well, in this case, we know the hook is first.
Yes,
so
it's just much less of a conundrum for us.
Yeah, and in that case, Altec did an amazing job with it afterwards, so you can easily make arguments in one way or the other, but that bottom lane for Team Dignitas is just working so well for them when you consider they came in halfway through the split.
Absolutely. Of course, yes, the win record with those 2 guys into the lineup is fantastic for Dignitas. Part of the reason why they're surging here late in the season. But here's the thing. We're moving on to a Game 3, and both teams have to quickly metabolize what it was that caused them to lose in such rapid fashion in both their games and what they did right in the games that they won, and reestablish strategies here for Game 3. Do you have any inklings about what we might see, maybe something you want to see from either team?
Yeah, so one thing that I think exposed CLG a little bit here is how obvious Shrimp was with his jungle pathing, and how little Omar God and the rest of CLG were able to punish that. So that's something that they need to be able to do better, because if Dignitas runs this back with an irresponsible camp in a lane. I'm actually going to call it that, because that's how much it should be able to be countered. He should lose his Raptors right away. He should lose his Krugs. The top laner should die when you do that many ganks that early in the bottom lane, and you should be able to come around from it. So if that happens again, I think CLG loses the series.
Right, and to me, though, that just, again, with the spotlight on Omar God, right? The idea that, okay, it's up to you, that if they decide to put focus somewhere, you've got to make the right decision to, you know, gain us advantages elsewhere. This guy's only played how many games on the LCS stage so far? He's up against another playoff team, and it's on him to come away with Game 3 victory. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I can't really criticize Team Dignitas for doing that, because it wasn't punished, so it worked. You did what you needed to do to win the game. I expect CLG as a team and Omar God to be able to counter that. So I'm hoping, since we've had some very lopsided games, that we get that awesome Game 3 that we always look for.
I hope we see some back-and-forth team fights. We'll see soon enough. We had an explosive Game 1 and an explosive Game 2. We'll see what Game 3 has in store when we return. Team Dignitas versus CLG Gaming concludes after the break.